was in law school, there were already states that didn't allow openly gay people to practice law because they were found not to have the proper character and fitness. So there was a sense that, in every profession, lesbian and gays could be challenged for not being quite fit enough.
In 1990, I don't know if I remember anybody who was out of the closet. Anybody who chose to be out suffered a world of hurt.
I didn't know any attorneys who were outwardly gay. In the work setting, everyone was presumed straight. That's just how it was in the large law firm world in Washington, D.C. in the early 90s.
I was friendly with both Leonard Graff and Ron Bogart for many years, working together on gay issues for the district. At some point, Ron and I decided to work together as the co-chairs of the D.C. section on criminal and individual rights. Leonard Graff was way ahead of us. He'd been doing some wonderful work for the gay community. We felt that there was a need for work on these issues. One of the main sort of focus for our group was about the case involving Georgetown University not permitting the lesbian and gay student group to form. And when we were shocked by that, it just seemed so obvious that they should allow that to happen. The D.C. had this wonderful human rights law that prohibited discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, and we didn't understand why a university wouldn't allow the students to organize. It was very frustrating. We found that members of the larger D.C. bar were not supportive of that case and of our ability to file an amicus brief to support that case. We found that even the ACLU was not terribly supportive.
Because of issues related to political advocacy primarily, there was limited matters that they could handle within the bar, and that it led to some tension, so a number of the members decided to organize as a separate organization. The public sentiment at the time the GAYLAW was formed was, I would say, at a time, a rapid evolution.
I was just coming out myself in the early 90s, and I kind of busted out of the closet and really wanted to become an activist right away, and this seemed to be the obvious way to do it. And I think at the time, the legal profession in D.C. particularly was a place that needed a little bit of shaking up.
Late 80s, in the context of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, I think the people were very out there and proud, and they decided to call it GAYLAW so that no one would have any problem knowing who and what we were. And I wind up being elected co-chair with my good friend Gigi Sohn, and we really focused on the legal profession, and we thought that was the most important thing, advocacy within the bar to open up the profession.
We agitated for the D.C. bar to do a report on discrimination against gays and lesbians, looking at the role of sexual orientation discrimination in the legal workplace. So very narrow, something perfect for the D.C. bar.
And the idea was that we need to have a study because people don't believe that discrimination exists. The bar, the lawyers don't, the partners don't see it.
We surveyed two different groups of people. We did a random sample of bar members, and we did a sample of DC bar members known to be gay or lesbian, not necessarily out in their workplaces.
It was mostly anecdotal, but some of the anecdotes were really, really scary. There was a woman who'd served on the GAYLAW board for a while who was essentially fired for being aggressive, being too much like a man, and had to go through unbelievable amounts of litigation to finally get satisfaction. But that was in the mid-90s.
Law firms and lawyers don't like to admit that they violate the law, right? So it's not like something they're going to come out and say that discriminates. So
I bought my dog-eared copy of the report of the District of Columbia Bar Task Force on Sexual Orientation in the Legal Workplace.
And after that, law firms came to the realization that some of their best attorneys were in fact gay and lesbian, and they started recruiting gay and lesbian attorneys, and no one could ever put it back in the bottle after that.
Well, the mentor-mentee program kind of started about the same time that I joined the organization, which was like in its first or second year.
The mentee program has been a part of GAYLAW for quite a bit, for law students and new lawyers, just to feel welcome in the city and to connect with a more experienced lawyer who could talk to them about a variety of things.
In fact, I was one of the originators of the DC Bar Candidate Forum, and we thought it important for two reasons. One, to get the candidates to actually think about gay and lesbian, bisexual, transgender issues, and two, to find out what their position was.
This year, another event that we had was the DC Bar Candidates Forum, and that was, again, another major success. Candidates who actively sought GAYLAW's endorsement for their candidacy.
It brings together all the voluntary bars to look at these bar candidates, because if they're going to be leading the bar, they really have to understand diversity.
We started the GAYLAW attorney referral while I was co-president with Gigi. We realized that on our phone line we would get calls from people seeking who's a gay or lesbian attorney, and this is something's happened to me, but I want to talk to someone who understands the issues of the community.
I was in the attorney referral program for years, and it was a great source of clients. It's a great resource for people to be able to go to that and find an attorney.
People are looking for attorneys who will understand them, who will understand their problem and be able to help them solve their problem. And they're going to want somebody who is going to be able to understand the language, understand the cultural references, understand their own concerns.
I find almost in every case where I have an LGBT client, at some point in the conversation it comes up that I'm also gay, and you can see the person relax and feel like, oh wow, that I do understand.
The attorneys who were volunteering at Whitman Walker to do wills for people. So, and that's been a great thing that GAYLAW has worked on for years. We've staffed that program.
The Job Talk was really a place for students and young lawyers to find out, what it's like being out in the workplace, and just in general, what it's like navigating the legal scene in Washington. And we kind of changed our focus a little bit this year. We really, as the times have changed, the topic of being out in the workplace, although it's still relevant, it wasn't really the focus of our panel. And so we spent a short time discussing that issue, and then we moved on to really what was on the minds of a lot of other participants, really how to find a job in this market. I'm particularly proud of the GAYLAW Education Fund, which is a program that we revitalized this year. It allowed us to fund 2 summer fellowships for law students who are working at local nonprofits.
I'm the law student representative for GAYLAW. On the GAYLAW board, I help coordinate the mentor-mentee program, and I keep the board informed about student activities and try to get GAYLAW involved with students and students involved with GAYLAW. The consortium of DC area law student groups wanted to improve its relationship with GAYLAW, so we've been having a couple meetings a year to bring GAYLAW together with the consortium.
I think the social and happy hours that GAYLAW puts on are quite important because they provide an opportunity for professionals to network and socialize.
The crux of GAYLAW is really networking and connections and just building one-on-one relationships with people.
One of the aspects that attracted me about getting involved in GAYLAW was that sense of esprit, was that sense of a common purpose, was that sense of being able to bond with people that have a similar background, face similar challenges.
Oh God, GAYLAW launched my career as far as I'm concerned. The contacts I made through GAYLAW, not only the members, but also in the DC bar. So
I got my job through GAYLAW. So after I got my job through GAYLAW in 2004, I went on to work for an organization that pulls together this last year 145 recruiters to give more jobs to lawyers.
Even though the name is GAYLAW, it is an inclusive organization that addresses the needs and welcomes the input and addition of every member of the LGBT community.
And when you realize that your impacts are not really on the names of the programs or the task force on sexual orientation in the profession, but your really impacts are how we did achieve the goal of creating the space and creating new leadership for our community.
I think over the next 20 years, GAYLAW can continue to serve the role that it is currently and has served in providing that venue for legal professionals to come together.
I think it will always be important because, for one thing, the issues never go away. They just keep evolving as we are able to resolve one issue. For example, we now have the ability to marry in the district. There's 10 more that are going to arise.
We fought the fight, but the fight is always going to be there. As we all know, in politics and in history, there are ups and downs, and we want to be there, we want to be organized, and we want to respond.
We're still not in a situation where we can pass an Employment Non-Discrimination Act. So while there are some benefits and some hurdles that we've overcome, there are still plenty of hurdles ahead.
We're here, we're queer, don't mess with us, we'll sue you.